All right, click the links to join the channel here over at Subscribestar. I'm got a mailbox. I'm mail me some comics and I'm monetized on Odyssey. You can join the channel over there as well. So Wonder, trans woman, and here's the thing: before you do anything, you have to learn to fake honest enthusiasm. You have to sell it, whatever it is, if you're in fact dependent on trying to sell something, which in this case is a comic. So I saw some of these panels on Twitter, and I wondered, who's depressed enough and what feels like self-hating enough to write something so lame, but in his mind, it's stunning and brave. And as I'll explain below, he's doing like a gay theme, but it's he feels like he's doing something and it was 20 years ago, or even kind of you'd have to go back further than that, where like gay was a thing, and then after that it became like trans was the next big thing. But it's like that's been done for several years now as a storyline. Kids were doing this kind of stuff on social media to come out of the closet and they're using it to get attention. I remember in 2015 when this stuff all started off, I think partially because Miley Cyrus, it was a big deal and kids were really getting attention. They were getting that dopamine feedback, and now it's gone. It's peaked. It's way on its downward cycle where people are still coming out and they're expecting that, that virtue signaling dopamine energy from the early days. And it's like, yeah, big deal. It's more and more people are trying to like catch this wave. It's like, it's already gone. It's not like the next big thing is, I don't know what the next big thing is. Probably like something horrifically dealing with furries and My Little Pony and otherkin or something. So the idiots who write this stuff think they're breaking new ground, writing, I guess, a gay character, possibly trans. It's not going out on an edge. It's current year. We assume that all characters are coming with butt plugs. And this comic bends over backwards to push some kind of woke BLT agenda. It doesn't even make sense because you're just trying to do too much. The setup is the kid is dying of some disease, and Wonder Woman is taking him out for his day. Honestly, the ending would probably be better if she killed him, and her and the other Amazonians cannibalized him, just to like leave the reader as absolutely confused as possible. You go like, what a lame ending that is. Yeah, but it wouldn't hurt the comic any because it's the whole thing is just pathetic. So that's the story, and it's stupid. But Tom King adds in the male character is really into Wonder Woman, and he doesn't like boy things like baseball or the male superhero. So you see what they're trying to imply there, as if this was written in 1983, maybe. So they're implying that, and the thing is, even then, who cares? Nobody wants to read about that. It's just, you're marketing to a really small audience. So he's implying the sexuality of the kid somehow in question, because modern comics are all about making the kids BLT because they can't write good stories, which good stories do not include sexualizing kids. So because they say that the kid isn't into boy things, but for the left wing, here comes your one joke. It's not one joke if you never have a punchline to it, is that they really cannot define boy or girl, and that there's no such things as boy things. In their world, baseball is simultaneously boy things and simply people things, because boy is undefined, or occasionally they'll use circular definition, or they'll just go to an ad hominem attack or deflection. You're not acting like adults if you really can't agree on a definition of these words, or if they just mean whatever you want them to mean. It's like, so everyone just has, if everyone has their own definitions for words, you're not speaking the same language anymore. They go, no, our definitions are correct and yours aren't. But we have different definitions as well. Anyway, this is all obviously nonsense. But they have to pretend to believe all this. Yikes, my guy! It's the current thing. Get your boosters, or whatever else. Ukraine, yeah. What happened to Ukraine? Oh, now we're on to that other country. All this is crap. But they pretend to believe this kind of stuff. To I don't know what even flags they're waving now on Twitter, which is why every argument with them is absolutely pointless, because they don't even really believe what they're saying, but they say it very loudly. Everybody knows what boys and girls are. Nobody is really BLT. They're just brainwashed by cultural Bolsheviks. Gender is derived from sex, which is a hard binary. Thus, two. Everything they say is so painfully stupid. This is all a fad pushed by the worst people on earth. The people with the vertical slits in their eyes. Oh no, the Hugo Boss is telling us not to cut our nuts off. Yeah, that's totally logical. The people you've been brainwashed to hate by media are telling you not to hurt yourself. That's crystal clear logic. Now you don't understand. We need to trust the $1 billion elective surgery industry, but they have a financial interest in you. Yeah, they're totally trustworthy. But I mean, aren't you supposed to ask, like, follow the money and who benefits? No, no, no. Teva Pharmaceutical, Sackler, the industries that profit off of human misery, off of brainwashed people, kids and parents. The industries making money from your psych ops, the ones that are giving kids puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and then finally sterilizing them and making billions. Oh yeah, we should trust them. That's insane. You're saying things that crazy people would say. Hugo Boss says what? This is really the argument. It's like you're dealing with people like, okay, I guess you're going to sterilize your kid then. Or, damn, Nazis don't want us to sterilize our kids. Yeah, they think that these huge pharmaceutical companies, this $1 billion medical industry, has their best interests at heart. And we're the bad guys who tell you that you might need your breasts to feed your children in the future, and those testicles, probably gonna want to hold on to them, buddy. We don't get any money by saying that kind of stuff, but the $1 billion medical industry does. So they have a financial interest to tell you whatever they. Oh, let me get to this other thing. It's just God. This is just all. This is hey, the crew is POCs. Aren't you guys a tribe? Yeah, we're tribe of people from all over the world. That's not the definition. Anyway, so the writer here, Tom King, is depressed. He seems to hate men, or maybe has a fetish in drawing them as cucks and betas. The whole problem with Wonder Woman as a character is that she started as just a fetish porn fantasy. That's literally her origin. The ropes and the bracelets are to remind you of wrist restraints. The whole thing is BDSM. Anyway, he writes this little dying kid as a total pussy and makes him a boy so he can feminize him. The whole thing is stupid because he's doing too much with the character so he can shoehorn in that there's some kind of something about this teenager who's dying of some horrible disease that like the thing he really wants to focus on is that he's, I don't know, something implying that he likes girl stuff. That's what a kid who's dying is going to focus on and wants to dress like a girl or whatever that they're trying to imply. It's combining two story points that is the last wish for cancer or something, and that it's a possibly a gay kid. It's just too much combined. It just feels like what it is, virtue signaling, to shoehorn it into a story. And when they do these kind of virtue signaling points, they're bypassing a good story. And you look at a lot of modern comics, almost, in fact, all modern comics, you realize, there are no good stories in modern comics anymore. So who reads this soy boy estrogen dripping pussy comics? Probably not many people. The other part, I mean, they're subsidized by their parent companies because I guess they want to hold on to the IPs, and that's why the stuff you're getting is stuff like this. So yeah, congratulations, you sold 20,000 copies in a country of a third of a billion people, where Wonder Woman has got movies and market saturation. She's known all over the place, and the point is you should be selling more copies. But to do that, you'd have to write good stories like they used to. You guys can go back and look at those older comics and see what's different. They were always left wing, you Nazis. Were they really this left wing? Because I must have missed that part. So the other part of the comic is the painfully stupid diversity, which I showed you, which is probably what gave the kid cancer in the first place, because diversity is cancer. So the Amazon chicks, they're part of a tribe or something based on Greek mythology. Diana of Artemis or something, Artemius, the huntress. Thus, they're going to look similar. If it's based on Greeks, then that's how they're going to sculpt them or draw them as Greek women, or some lost white tribe in South America, which those are some great fun stories. The point being is they're going to look like they belong together. Instead, woke comics makes the tribe full of people from all over the world, which is just so painfully stupid, because that's not how tribes work. But they did that in the Wonder Woman in 1984, the movie, where the opening, that was a 2.5 hour movie, and you feel every minute of that 2.5 hours. That was 150 minutes or something. That was a long friggin' movie. The opening 15 is like 15 minutes is the Olympic Games scene, and there's just like, hey, look, it's this Greek tribe in the Amazon or whatever. It's this Chinese woman, African, Indian, Latin, Latina. This is really stupid. It just takes you out of the movie immediately. And you imagine your little kid, you're asking your parents to get this movie, like, Mom, Dad, why is this? How does this make sense? It's like, well, son, I have to explain Hollywood to you. The thing is, Greeks are not Africans or Chinese, yet they're all together in a tribe of women. Except nobody wants diversity because it's not organic. People of different tribes hate each other. You just have to look around at current data to know that. So the SJWs claim that this isn't true, that they all actually, it's just you. It's just they all hate you. It's like, no, because you can turn on social media and see it. But that doesn't change the reality that it very much is true. Can you guys stop putting globalist propaganda in every single thing? Sir, you're asking the impossible. They do it to the point of destroying the story. Well, I mean, they destroy the European stories, but not the Asian or the African stories for some reason. In Wakanda, they seem to be missing the Chinese and the Europeans to diversify Wakanda. Or in Shang-Chi, I think they're missing the Africans and Europeans. But for some weird reason, in all the European stories, the Euro characters, if they're blonde or red-haired, they get race swapped or are forced to include non-Euro characters, sometimes to that point of absurdity. Why are there Africans in Thor's Norse pantheon? Plot twist, they're not there. Heimdall is a glowing, clear white creature or something in the Wakanda pantheon. So did you swap out the Wakandans for diversity? No, they're all black. That doesn't make sense. It makes sense if you understand that they just hate you, and it's like, then it makes sense. But nobody wants to question why Disney and Warner Brothers only seem to hate European people. Now, the Twitter SJWs hear this, and they get their panties in a bunch, but you ask them, so why isn't anyone buying these woke comics? And that just distracts them because you've used the word woke. Then they spurg off about how triggered they are by the word, and they never get around to dealing why nobody buys woke comics. Or they ask, well, why don't Comicsgate people put their comics in the store to help the LCS? But nobody's stopping the stores from ordering and selling the graphic novels. In fact, some campaigns have retailer discounts. Or imagine if stores did start selling CG. The soy boys would threaten to burn the stores down. Basically, left-wing comic book people are children in adult bodies. They're the worst, whiny, backstabbing pussies you remember from school. Except most kids kind of grew out of that phase. The kids who were always running to the teacher to tell on the other kids to the point where the teacher was telling them to not be such a pussy. How many gay or trans issues should be in mainstream comics? 0. That's what the alternative independent comics are for. The mainstream should cast a wide net. And gay issues in comics is a deal breaker for people where the reverse either isn't true or the numbers are so low it doesn't matter. Comics like this make me wonder if they're not actually laundering money or something even weirder. So 10 years ago, a gay cancer scene would have been dated. It wouldn't have been stunning and brave even 10 years ago. Your audience doesn't want to see it, so it's like, what do they do? Well, they double down on exactly what the audience doesn't want. So this comic comes off as a depressed alcoholic's take on how much he hates the world because he's brainwashed by globalist propaganda, where he hates America, men, himself, the people of the light, us. Like, he can't decide to write the issue or, perhaps drink himself to death. What's the point of writing these miserable comics? And this is, I couldn't imagine, this is number 4. I can't imagine going back and reading the first 3. Comics didn't used to be like this, where they just crap all over America or European Americans or men in general. That's what comics are like now. In fact, that's what all of Hollywood is like now. And that ship has sailed. Like, they're not going to turn that around. So, how many people are buying this comic? I wish we could find out the numbers. You can't, because after the Wu flu, they did something differently where they're not releasing the numbers because they don't want anyone to know that, like, a worldwide name of Wonder Woman is actually selling 14,000 copies, which is probably what it's down to. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Merry Christmas, Happy Yule, and New Year, and all that. And I'll see you guys all next episode.